How are you action figure enthusiasts out there? JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new SH Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Black Widow figure from Tamashii Nations Bandai. Now this figure comes packaged in a window box. You've got the figure clearly displayed. On the front there on the window, you've got the character's name and the Black Widow symbol. And then down below, you've got an image of the character from the movie and the Avengers Infinity War movie logo. On the sides, on one side, you've just got the Black Widow name and the Avengers logo. The other side, you've again got the name and the Avengers logo, and there's an image of the actual figure. And then on the back of the packaging, we have more images of the figure showing off the accessories and various poses, and then a bunch of writing that I really can't read. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now, first of all, they do include an instruction sheet that shows you how to work all the accessories. Now, it is written in a foreign language, but they've included pictures and everything. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory, but again, they have provided that instruction sheet for you. Okay, so for the actual accessories that come with the figure, first of all, you get 4 different pairs of hands with this one, and all the hands are featuring the fingerless gloves that you see her wear in the movie. So the first pair here is a pair of open hands, and you've got the fingers that are kind of spread apart. And then you get a second pair of open hands, and this one has the fingers kind of all together. And then you get a pair of grip hands for holding the baton weapons that she comes with, so they have the holes in them. And then you get this pair of just closed-fisted hands, and these are the ones that are actually attached to the figure when you first take it out of the package. Okay, and switching out the hands on the figure is easy. You just pull off the hand you want to replace, and you've got the little hole on the hand, and then you've got the little peg hinge system here, and then you just take whatever hand you want to replace it with, and you pop it on there. And that little hinge joint might move a little bit on you, but for the most part, it's pretty easy. And once you get it on there, the hands do fit nice and tight. 3 different facial expressions featuring the likeness of Scarlett Johansson. So the first one here is the one that's attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging, and that's the more normal looking one. The eyes are looking straight ahead, and she really doesn't have any kind of expression or anything. This middle one is, she's got her eyes that are kind of looking off to the right, so it's not drastically different, but again, the eyes are positioned a little bit differently. And then the third one is a more angry looking expression. You've got some wrinkles on her forehead, and she definitely looks like she's a bit irritated or pissed off. Switching out the facial expressions is pretty easy. So basically, first thing you want to do is just pop the head off the body if it's on a little ball peg system. And then what you want to do is grab the bottom of the face here and just kind of pull it out from the hair, and it should come right out. You've got the little pegs here on the side of the face, and then you've got the little slits here on the inner part of the hair there. Now the hair itself is actually 2 different pieces, so you can actually pull it apart at the midsection there. Again, you've got the little peg system that just slides in there. This front piece is done with a rubber type material, so you've got some flexibility there. This back piece is more solid, and you don't necessarily need to split the hair apart like that to switch out the faces, but they have given you that ability, I guess, to make it a little bit easier. And then to put in whatever face you want to do, you just want to make sure you slide those little pegs within the hair, and then just kind of push in. And if the hair starts to split apart, you can just push the hair back together, and that face should slide in there. Those little pegs should slide in, and it will fit nice and tight. And then once you do that, you just put the head back on the body. Okay, and here's a look at the normal facial expression that we get with the figure. And overall, I think the likeness to Scarlett Johansson is pretty good. Now, they've used that metallic gold for the hair, for the blonde hair, which I'm not a huge fan of. We've seen Tamashii Nations do that before with other blonde characters like Captain America and such. So I'm not a big fan of the metallic gold that they use, but otherwise I think it looks good. I like the paint applications on the face itself. I think the eyes look good. And again, I think they've done a pretty good job of nailing the likeness of Scarlett Johansson with this figure. Okay, and here's the second facial expression. This is the one where the pupils are kind of looking off to the right, so it's not terribly different from the regular facial expression, but again, she's looking more to the right. This is the final one, her angry expression. So you've got the little wrinkles over her nose, and her eyes are a little more inwards, and again, she definitely looks like she's pissed off here. Okay, and then finally you get 3 different versions of her baton staff type weapon that you see her use in the movie. So you get one where you've got the 2 batons attached to make the longer staff. Then you've got a version where you've got the 2 separate batons that she uses. And then the final one is just the handles themselves that you can stick on the back of the figure for storage, like you see her do in the movie. And each weapon is done in a black plastic, so there's not really much in the way of paint detail, but you do have some nice sculpting detail on the actual handles and everything, so these do look fairly movie accurate. Now with each one of these, with the long one, you can actually pull it apart here at the ends, and this is so you can actually put it in the figure's hand easier, so you don't have to slide it all the way through. And then they did the same thing with the shorter versions. You can actually pull it apart here at the handle so that you can basically stick it in her hands, in the grip hands. And then the final ones have the little ball joints that you can attach to the figure's backpack piece, which I'll show you in just a second here. Okay, now this figure has a feature that I thought was sorely missing from the Hasbro Marvel Legend version, and that's the ability to make it look like she's storing her baton weapons in her backpack piece like you see in the movie. So the backpack piece itself is a hard plastic. It's not removable from the figure. It's just done with a glossy black with some gray line work painted on there, and then you've got these 2 holes on the top there. So what you want to do is you want to take those small handle pieces of her batons that they included, make sure the ball joint is pointing downward, because you're going to pop those into the holes on the top there, and they should pop in pretty easily. You might have to push the figure's head forward a little bit, but again, they do pop in and fit nice and tight. And then once you pop them in, you can actually move them around a bit and pose them however you want. But the idea here again is to make it look like she's storing her baton weapons in her backpack piece like you see in the movie. Okay, so for the figure itself, I think they've done a pretty good job overall. So she is wearing that green vest that you see her have in the movie. It is not removable or anything. And you've got the zipper, some sculpting detail with the zipper, and the zipper is done down, and you can see her shirt underneath a little bit there. So I like that detailing, and you can also see some skin tone there. And then you've got the metallic silver with the zipper and these little tabs and everything, and these little straps that go across her midsection. She's just got underneath the vest is just her black outfit. So you've got some sculpting detail there with the line work. And then she has her widow stings that she has on her wrist, and those are sculpted on there. They're not separate pieces or anything with this one. She's got the belt, which is a separate piece, and you've got some lighter silver for the buckle and these belt loops, and then the belt itself is just done with black. And you've got some detail in the back as well. Already talked about the backpack piece. And you've got these little holsters on the sides of her legs, so they did not include any pistols with this figure. You don't really see her use pistols in the movie, at least not her own, I don't think, if I remember correctly. But they have included these holsters that are sculpted on each leg, so if you do have little tiny pistols, you can actually slide them in there. And if you like your widow to be armed, then you can actually do that, which I think is kind of cool. And again, with the pants, she's just done with the black, with the line work. She's got the knee pads. And then with the boots, she's got the heels, but they're a solid piece, so she can still actually stand even with the heels. So this figure stands just under 6 inches tall. Now here's a comparison with the Hasbro Marvel Legend version of Black Widow from Infinity War, and you can see the Marvel Legend version is a little bit taller. And while I have the Marvel Legend version here, I just wanted to give you a close-up comparison of the 2 face sculpts. I think both figures do a pretty solid job of capturing Scarlett Johansson's likeness. I like the way the hair is sculpted on the SH Figuarts, but I like the paint job on the hair for the Marvel Legend version. Again, I'm just not a huge fan of that metallic gold, but I guess if I had to give one an edge over the other, I would say the SH Figuarts one is a little more closer to the likeness, but both are very solid looking figures. Now here's a comparison with the older SH Figuarts Age of Ultron Black Widow figure, and I think this new version is definitely an improvement over that original one. And here's a comparison with the SH Figuarts Infinity War Iron Man Mark 50 figure and the Iron Spider figure. Black Widow is taller than Spider-Man, but not as tall as Iron Man. And then finally, here's a comparison with the SH Figuarts Infinity War Thanos figure. Okay, so for articulation, she can turn her head to the left and the right, and she can look down really good, but she really can't look back very much because of the hair. You can also pivot the head to the left and the right a bit. Now with the arms, she can get her arms out good. She has good rotation there at the shoulder. She has some back and forth movement there at the shoulder. I wouldn't call it a true butterfly joint, but she does have that back and forth movement. This inner piece here is a separate piece that if you pulled out the arm, which attaches with a ball joint, you can actually remove this piece. And then she has rotation up high there around that ball joint, but not what I would call true bicep swivel. She can bend her elbow pretty good there. You have some rotation there at the elbow. She has rotation at the hands, and then she has good up and down movement with those hinge joints. She has a midsection joint, so you can rotate a little bit, though if you rotate too much, it's just going to pop off of that ball joint. And then she also has a waist joint as well, and again, you can rotate a little bit, but if you do it too much, it'll pop off. She really can't crunch forward there at the midsection, but she can actually look back good there at the midsection. So she's got good back movement, but not very good forward movement. You can also pivot to the left and the right there at the midsection. Same at the waist. You can pivot back and forth, and then you get a little more forward movement there at the waist than you do at the midsection. And again, she can look back a little bit there at the waist as well. Now with the legs, she can do the splits really good. She can get her leg forward good, and she can do her leg out and back. She's got that rotation around the ball joint up high there. It's not, again, what I would call a true thigh swivel, but again, she does have some rotation. She has good bending there at the knee, a double hinge type knee joint. And then with the feet, you've got rotation with the feet, and you've got hinges, so up and down movement. And you do have some pivot there with the feet as well. And then she does have toe articulation, but no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think this is a pretty good figure. I like the likeness to Scarlett Johansson. I think the detailing on the figure is nice, and I like the accessories as well. And the fact that you can attach the baton pieces to her backpack so it looks like she's storing her weapons there like you see in the movie, I think gives it a slight edge over the Hasbro Marvel Legend version. My only complaint with this figure is I don't really like the gold metallic paint that they used with the hair. Now this figure has started to see a release overseas. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel by hitting that button down below. I'd really appreciate it. You should also hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And of course, you can also follow me on my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. I have links to all those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.